Welcome back to the Desk Talk Podcast. This is the fast-paced Friday episode. Your hosts, Trent Werner and Alex.SMagala. Let's do it!
Taylor,
Hey.
Alex, Trent, back for a little fast-paced Friday action, talking hop.
It's like a bunny hop.
Yeah, we're hopping through the wealth forest, baby.
Ooh.
I like that.
Taylor, what's hop?
What is HOPP?
Not what's up, what's hop?
Oh, what's hot? No, what's HOPP? Stands for Home Ownership Pathway Program. It is a beautiful, beautiful program that Uptown exclusively offers their tenants as a thank you for being great tenants that allows them to waive their
Wave.
Like bye.
waive their lease break fee in order to buy a house with one of our great brokers.
And it's powerful because I was looking to rent and I called around to other property management companies in the area and asked them and was like, do you guys have a program like this?
Yeah.
All of them were like, no.
What's that?
What? What is that?
No way.
No.
Get real.
Yeah, money hungry.
Come on.
Yeah.
So
So it's powerful.
But that's why
crazy.
we are who we are, baby.
that's right.
Because we offer such an incredible program to our tenants because we appreciate them.
That's right.
I think, that's something that's super important. The tenant and manager or landlord relationship has to be awesome and strong, and you have to value each other. We value our tenants, so we offer the HOPP program.
Yep.
So they don't have to pay a lease break fee if
Right.
they work with us to achieve their goal of owning a home.
That's right. That's right.
Which
It is-
means you could plan to rent for 4 months,
That's right.
save up as much money as possible in those 4 months, and then go buy a house the next month and not have to pay any fines to Uptown for getting out of that lease,
Exactly.
which is nuts because so many people try and do short-term leases where they end up inflating their cost for a 6-month lease because they didn't sign 12-month. Apartment complexes love to do it where a 6-month, 8-month, 11-month, 12-month lease, they're all different price points. And if you're not doing the full 12-month or 18-month lease, then it's, inflated like half a percentage on this side. So it's just, it's rough when you're trying to do short-term. You're like, I'm buying a house. I know I'm going to buy a house. It's like, well, okay, if you know you're going to buy a house, let's look at a company who also offers property management and can literally, it's like a bridge. Uptown is bridging you to homeownership.
Yep. And one thing that I've seen a lot is that month to month, if someone's like, oh, I'm going to buy a house in 5 months. I'm just going to go get a month-to-month lease right now.
Right.
Well, if the 12-month rental rate for monthly rent was $1,600, all of a sudden the monthly or the month-to-month rental rate is $1,800.
If not more.
Yeah, and so you're paying so much more than you have to unless, where you could just sign a 12-month lease with us.
Yeah.
If you buy a house in 4 months, great. If not, if it takes 8 months, we still are going to cover your lease break fee for
It's
it.
the flexibility.
And isn't it so much nicer to know that you don't have to pull a trigger right away?
Mm-hmm.
It's so much nicer. You get to sleep easy at night, and then you can house shop casually, comfortably.
Yeah. There's no time frame versus, oh man, I'm going to sign, a 6-month lease. I should start my home shopping now so that by the time my 6-month lease ends, I have something finalized. You give yourself a full year and it's like you could be fluid.
Right.
You just do whatever you want and it'll work out.
Yeah. So the other part to the reason we offer it is because we want people to create wealth for their future.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I strive for. Something I strive to help people achieve as well. And Alex, talk about the difference in wealth creation of if someone's going to rent versus own where they live.
Yeah, the numbers are insane. Renting versus owning, like a 5-year period, the net worth difference that you can build owning a property versus renting a property. I think the last time I ran the numbers was way back, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, but take a 3.5% rate on a $350,000, $400,000 house, and it's like the same payment as your $1,600 or $1,700 rent payment that you're making right now. And the difference is over that 5-year period, you're taking $1,800 times what? 60? 12 times 5? 60? 1,800 times 60, and that's just down the drain. That's going to someone else.
Gone.
Like
Never
you're
to see
not
again.
seeing it again. Versus if you go and buy property and own it, that $1,800 is going into basically a big bank account. It's building your net worth. And so
Exactly.
5-year period, you take that difference, it's like, I don't even know. Let's just do the math real quick on my phone because I want to be.
I was trying. It was
1,800 times
System
60,
2 type stuff.
$108,000 that you've now thrown down the drain, and versus your $1,800 over 5 years of putting it into a home and investing it and getting the appreciation. Your net worth will be probably like 6, 7, 800,000 more than what your house is worth,
Right.
because that's now an asset. You own real property. It's an asset. Yeah, you have a mortgage on it, which technically is a debt, but it's an asset. Now you're in the game.
Well,
That's right.
the other thing to consider too is that's assuming that equation was assuming that rent was going to stay the same for 5 years. That's not even taking into consideration a rent increase year over year, which typically happens.
Yeah.
Even in 2020, rents are still increasing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like that's a big benefit if you're talking net worth over just a 5-year period. I mean, some people rent for even longer than that. So if you want to elongate it and you know that you're talking to someone, they're like, oh, I've rented for 10 years. I think I'm going to rent for another 10. You're like, okay, let's break out the last 10 and these next 10 and show you how much money it is versus a 20-year difference of investing in yourself.
Right.
And it's mind-blowing. Like sometimes people, it blows their mind. And I think we'll be able to highlight this on this episode. I'll throw up some like mortgage coach stuff to show you so you can kind of see comparison. We'll throw it side by side. Net worth over a 5-year period of owning versus renting. It's mind-blowing. But on top of that, another big benefit to owning real estate and having a mortgage is now you get to write it off in taxes.
Yep.
Owning a house is a tax write-off, which therefore means as soon as you own a home, you can go back to your employer, let them know you own a home, put it into your taxes, and you're now getting more in your paycheck. So I show people this through the mortgage coach, like, hey, if your rent payment is $1,800, technically that $2,000 mortgage payment is the same as an $1,800 rent payment because each paycheck you're getting $100 more, or if you get paid monthly, you're getting $200 more. The difference of increasing to look at a mortgage, because most people are going to be like, how can you keep my rent payment the exact as my mortgage? It's like, yeah, it's easy. We can qualify you just based off that payment. So that's the only amount of home you can go after. But what if that tax implication can add more money to your pocket each month, therefore you can afford just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So now that $350,000 house becomes a $450,000 house, especially in today's environments where rates are so goddamn low. Affordability is through the roof.
Right.
So a little difference in payment is a large, large, large amount of home you can go shop for.
Exactly.
So like this allows you to, you can look at it in a different way. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm investing in myself. 1, 2, I'm getting more money from my employer. 3, if you do keep it the same, yeah, you can pocket that and you can go invest it elsewhere and build another stream of income. I mean, there's just so many ways to look at it once you own a house.
Yep.
Now you're playing the game.
It's
now
just
you've got so many moves to make.
Are stuck in a lease. Like
They have.
I
I said it myself.
But they have this idea. Like, I'd love to own. And let's say you're that person that's out there and you're going to sign a 6-month lease at a different place. Well, suddenly then you have this very rigid timeline. And if you break it on the plus or minus side, it's going to cost you way more money than it really needs to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I could not tell you. So the last place that I rented from, I needed an extra 8 days from when I signed my new lease at the apartment. And I said it on a Fast-Paced Friday. I was heated about this. It was literally like almost an entire month's rent for 8 days. And it's because they like prorate it and it's a pain. And it's because it extends their move out or move in for the next person. And I was just like, I'm moving to another community that they own. Like, why am I getting charged? It was outrageous. So like every time you think like signing a new lease and moving, like the plus days on the back end of your lease, those cost more. Breaking your lease costs more. And so if you're avoiding fees in general, which is more money towards a down payment, towards closing costs, towards obtaining that home, that's better.
Right. Keep your money in your pocket. If you don't have to give it to somebody else, don't give it to somebody else. And you signing a lease that you think is going to create this new time frame that you have, guess what? You're still going to have the same exact problems. You're just prolonging them.
Yeah. And I think the best part, too, is as a renter, you're acting as a buyer. You guys are buyer's agents. They're not paying for you to represent them.
Exactly.
The sellers are. So it's like, it's a win-win. Like you're literally getting free off of your lease.
Yeah.
And into a home and represented fairly versus some people who go out there and get represented by an agent who's selling them. I mean, there's just so many things. Can't do that here in Oregon, but you can do it in Nevada. But yeah, I mean,
Right on.
So let's think about it this way. Let's say someone's rent payment is $3,000 a month. You know, they rent a good sized house, and they want to now own a house. They're one of our tenants. They qualify. They buy a house. Their rent payment or their mortgage payments, whatever, and they need to break that lease. So if they were our tenants, that $3,000 rent payment equates to a $4,500 lease break fee.
That's right.
So they would not pay $4,500 if they worked with us. If they were with someone else, a different management company, they are paying $4,500 on top of all the cash it's going to take to buy the house. And if they need a good sized house, there's probably going to be a good sized down payment. And so it's just adding on to the cost of these people, even for a $2,000 a month rent payment.
Yeah.
It's $3,000. And I know $3,000 is a good chunk of change.
Yeah. I mean, for me, so like that's, I don't know, Uptown obviously is a little bit more favorable than these people that I'm renting from, but it's 1.5 times my month's rent to break. Mm-hmm. So if I want to break next month, I have to pay my monthly fee on top of my lease break fee. Mm-hmm. So it's $1,800 on top of $1,800 times 1.5. So it's
come on,
literally
$2,700 plus $1,800.
It's like $5,000.
$5,600.
That's closing costs.
It's ridiculous.
That's nuts. So it's like, why am I going to break my lease? Like,
yeah, nobody wants to do that.
No, you get held hostage, and then there's so many problems when you factor in stuff like that and situations that you're in. Now you're spending more money. Now it's going to take you longer to save. Oh, now you have to sign another lease. I mean, it's just problems on top of it's snowball effect. Like it's real once you get into these issues with renting. And so if you have an option to sit down, sign a lease, and be able to walk away from that lease and be represented into buying a house at any time,
whenever,
that's a win.
That's a great option to have.
Yeah.
So just to summarize, HOPP Program, Home Ownership Pathway Program. Yep. It's something that Uptown Properties offers to all of their tenants to buy a house and understand that they will not have to pay a lease break fee if they buy a house and have to break their lease. So it allows them the freedom to go out and search for a home and buy a home, knowing that if they work with us to buy that home, they will not have to pay a lease break fee, which is a super cool program if you ask me, and I'm super excited that we are able to offer it.
Yeah.
It'll also help build your net worth through owning real estate. Over years and years of owning real estate, you are going to increase your net worth. You have an asset that is going to appreciate for you. That's and we're excited to help people do it, help people accomplish it.
Leverage your mortgage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They would know because we just released that episode
today.
Beautiful. It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
I couldn't agree more.
That's how we got. I was super pissed when I was trying to rent because I was trying to rent from Uptown so that I could break my lease.
Yeah.
But there just wasn't any properties available at the time.
You didn't like the pet fee, dude. You didn't like the pet fee.
Also that too. But
he was pissed about the pet fee and called me. I'm like, dude, I can't control it.
Oh, it's heated. $50?
I'm sorry.
That's where Uptown makes their money.
No, the owners do.
The owners make their money.
But that's how we got. Fast-paced Friday. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Taylor, thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure.
Alex, you take us out.
You just took us out.
I already took us out. Adios. Peace. And that was the end of today's Fast-Paced Friday episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Desk Talk Podcast. All of our socials will be in the description below. Have a great weekend. Adios.